segment, you're going to learn a little bit more about taxes, time, and money management, as well as tracking your business. You're also going to learn a little bit more about what goes in a hostess packet, booking and coaching your hostess. So hopefully these ideas that I give you and some of the things that I'm going over with you today will help you really kind of get your business off to a really great start. And these are going to be some things that you can use, some tools in your hands to really just help you to stay organized. And that's really important in your business when you're just getting started, to be able to stay organized and keep all of your papers where you need them. So you should have received in your welcome pack or in the email that I sent you, you should have received some of these papers just so that you can follow along with me as we go today. And if you did not get those papers, you can find them either on our website or just get in touch with me and I will make sure that you have them, okay? So what I'd like to do today is just kind of start a little bit with time management and why that's so important to your business. I will say that getting yourself organized right from the very beginning is a great way to get your business off to a soaring start. So I'm going to just go over some information with you that I think is going to help you in that area. And one of the first things I wanted to talk about is what we call the weekly timesheet. Or the weekly plan sheet, I should say, in Mary Kay. And it looks just like this, so it's a form that looks like this in your packet. So what I want you to do is just pull that out and take a look at it. This is a really great way to keep yourself organized in Mary Kay. And basically what it is just kind of helps you to see where your pockets of time are available to work your business, as well as whatever else you're committed to throughout the week. So if you're working a job, let's say you work 8 to 4 Monday through Friday, you want to make sure that you go ahead and block that time out as your work time. And I would even suggest maybe color coding it. Just get some highlighters and just color code your schedule based on what it is that you have going on throughout the week. And again, it also just helps you to kind of see where your pockets of time are to work your Mary Kay business. I mean, obviously we can't work Mary Kay 24/7 and we can't work it 100% of the time, but we can give it 100% of our time during the times we have it scheduled. So I really want to encourage you, just whatever your schedule is, like I said, whether it be work, if you have events like children's soccer games, they have practices, whatever they have going on, whether it's church events on Sunday, sporting events, if you have family events that are scheduled, birthday parties, whatever it is, each week, I would say take 20-30 minutes on a Sunday evening and just go ahead and fill out this form. It's really going to help to keep you organized. Some women like to do this digitally, and that's fine too. But I found that if you can fill this out once a week and then maybe even make one master list for everybody in the family and then just put it somewhere everybody can see it. That way they know where you're going to be throughout the week as you're working your Mary Kay business. And the other thing that this is going to do is it's going to really help you to find out where your pockets of time are to work your Mary Kay business. You might discover that you have more time than you thought, or maybe you'll discover that you have a little bit less time than you thought. But it's okay, because even if you just have 4 extra hours a week to work your Mary Kay business, it might be a Tuesday night and a Friday night that you've got 2 hours each night that you can work your business, and that is totally fine. You may also discover that you have an hour from, maybe you have your lunch hour from noon to 1, and you could always use that time to make some phone calls if you needed to follow up with your customers, or to just make a delivery if you needed to. So a very helpful sheet. Really want to encourage you to use this to just keep your schedule organized, okay? One of the next things I want to talk about is just your 6 most important list. And what that is, Mary Kay always said, you know what, every day there's always at least 6 things that you need to get accomplished. And I can tell you, when you actually write those things down, get them out of your head, write it down on a piece of paper, that's going to help you to stay so much more organized. For myself, I kind of like to use the notebook method, and basically what it is, it's just a spiral notebook, and I put on in the top corner, I put every day of the month, like for example, October 1st all the way through October 31st. And on the front side of each page, I would put my to-do list, the 6 most important things I need to accomplish that day. And then as I do them, on the back side of that piece of paper, in the notebook, I would write down, like for example, if I needed to follow up with a customer, I would just kind of put in there what actually happened during that conversation. And the other thing is that the thing that I would suggest about your 6 most important list is that you may want to have one for your Mary Kay business and one also for your personal, household things that need to get done for the day. But I will tell you that you will get so much more accomplished when you write it down. And when you're just getting started in the business, you may only have 2 or 3 most important, just because you may not have that many clients right away early in your business. So I would just encourage you to write them down. And if you don't get them all finished that day, that's okay, because you'll probably get more done than you would have if you hadn't written them down. Because a lot of times we think we'll remember everything and just keep it up in our head. But I want to encourage you, write that down. And if for whatever reason you don't finish those 6 most important, you want to make sure that you just put it on the next day's list. Some of the things that might go on that 6 most important list might just be something, for example, go to the post office and get postage. Follow up with a customer that you needed to follow up with because she just purchased product from you. Maybe it's something that showed some interest in the business and you want to follow up with her. There are so many things it could be. It could even just be, remember to, go to my meeting tonight. Whatever it is, just write it all down, okay? The next thing I want to talk to you about is just thinking about when you're working your business. Normally 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is prime time people time. So that is the time during the day that we can be connecting with our customers, connecting with potential customers, and really working our business, seeing people. So we really want to be mindful of other people's schedules, just like, for ourselves. I don't know about you, but I really don't think I like it when people call my house before 9 o'clock, trying to track me down. So we really want to be careful when we're calling others, that we want to make sure we call people after 9 o'clock in the morning and before 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes in the summertime you can stretch that a little further. And also, your customers and your clients, if it's your best girlfriend and she's up with the kids early in the morning, getting them on the bus, that's a different story. But just a good rule of thumb, 9 a.m., 9 p.m., okay? So now we're going to talk a little bit more about tracking your expenses. And I will tell you, one of the great things about Mary Kay is that we really do have some great advantages when it comes to tax time of the year. And as a brand new consultant, I just want to put your mind at ease to know that really honestly and truthfully, as long as you just manage your paperwork now, just consistently throughout the year, you really don't have too much to worry about at the end of the year. You're only going to have tax benefits from your Mary Kay business. It's not until you really start earning cars and trips and jewelry and all those kind of things that you need to really even be concerned about taxes at the end of the year. So we're going to talk a little bit about tracking your expenses, okay? And the first thing that I would say is just really want to make sure that you keep track of all of your receipts. So whatever you're purchasing that has anything to do with your Mary Kay business, you just want to make sure that you are keeping those receipts and that you're just filing them away. So make a little note. One of the best things that you can do is just go ahead and purchase 12 of those manila envelopes. You can even buy them at the dollar store, honestly. I think you can get 10 or 12 in a pack. And then the kinds that have a little flap on it, and just on every one of them put the month of the year on there, January through December. And then each month as you're out working your business, let's say for example you bought some postage because you had to mail out invitations, or you bought paper, or you bought ink for your computer. Whatever it is that you've purchased, anything that has to do with your business, you want to put those receipts in that folder, okay? At the end of that month, you want to just track everything. So just pull all those receipts out, and then you want to just categorize. For example, postage. What was the total amount you spent on postage for the month? What was the total you spent on office supplies, whether it's paper, ink, whatever it is? Section 2 items. Those are basically the items that you buy from Mary Kay. That's a sales aid. You'll often hear us talk about Section 1 items and Section 2 items. Section 1 items are those items that you buy from Mary Kay that are products that you can sell to your customer, that you get sales credit for. Section 2 items are your sales aids. Those are catalogs, lookbooks, applicators, order forms, anything that you're purchasing from Mary Kay that you're using to aid your business. Those are Section 2 items. So you can just go ahead and keep track of that as well. There is a sheet in your packet, and it's basically an expense tracking form. Some women like to use Excel spreadsheets, and that's totally fine. Whatever works good for you is fine. This just is a little sample of tracking your expenses each quarter. This one's just broken up into quarters, first quarter all the way through the fourth quarter. And this just gives you some ideas of some of the things that you can write off your taxes and what to keep track of throughout the year. So what you can do is just basically, whether it's postage like we had shared before, supplies, printing, copying or faxing, anything that you're doing, whether you're traveling, events and entertainment. So these are just some things that are going to be able to help you to know what to track when you're keeping those expenses straight and you're keeping your receipts, okay? The other thing is there's another form in there, and that one looks like this. It's called Income Tax Deductions Made Easy. You can read through this as well. It just talks about the manila envelopes that I told you about. It also talks about just if you're using items for yourself, any personal items that you're using that you've taken off of your shelf, just make sure you write a sales ticket for that, and I just put my name on there, the date, what items I used, and then you're going to write that off as an advertising expense. So anything that you use for yourself or that you give away as a gift, you want to make sure that you write it off on your taxes as an advertising expense. Okay? You also want to make sure that you keep all of those sheets that come in your boxes. So when you place an order with Mary Kay and they ship it to you, there's going to be an invoice in there. Make sure you keep all of those because you're going to actually get on there. It's going to say how much you paid in shipping. So you want to make sure you keep those, and you can tally those up also throughout the year. That way you keep track of your shipping charges because those are a tax deduction. The other thing is just keeping track of all your hostess credits. Anything that you gave away at a party, if you gave away free product to your hostess or you gave away free product or a discount to your customer, same thing. You want to make sure you keep all those order forms because if you gave any discounts at all, those also can be written off at the end of the year as a expense. So pretty great to think about that. So you can read through all of these, and I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to go through everything here with you right now, but just make sure you read through that. If you have any other questions about this, make sure you reach out to me. But really the most important thing you can do is ask yourself, is what I just purchased something that I needed for my business? And if the answer to that is yes, then you can take that deduction. So just for example, this is one last sheet, Mary Kay tax write-offs. For example, if you're using anything, like I said, office supply, and if you bought a new printer or a computer for your business, if your cell phone, portion of your cell phone bill, portion of your internet bill, your mileage is a huge deduction. So whenever you're tracking your mileage, you want to log that into a book or somewhere, whether you're logging it on your phone or in a ledger or something like that. Just keep it right in the car. And every time you leave, you want to do odometer reading to odometer reading. So that is how you're going to be able to track for your mileage expense. And that's a huge one because you get 55 cents per mile, a tax deduction at the end of the year for every mile that you put on your car. When you went to an event, whether you're dropping off product, if you're going to do an appointment, if you're going to the post office, anything that you're going to do that's related to your business is a tax deduction. So you want to make sure that you're able to just go ahead and keep track of that as well. Okay, so you can read through the rest of those, and that will be able to help you to track any other things that you might be able to write off your business as an expense. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is just your business tracking register. Looks like this, and basically I would say that this really kind of reminds me, looks just like a checkbook register. And this is going to become a very important part of your business. And basically it's going to help you to track your monies, the monies coming into your business and the monies that are going out of your business. So this is a really important form that you want to make sure that you're taking, that you're using. If you have any questions about this after I go over this with you today, just make sure that you reach out and I can explain to you a little better, okay? But basically in your Mary Kay business, especially if you've already started off with product on hand and you've made a decision to invest in inventory, you want to always make sure that you're keeping your inventory at a healthy level. And so what's going to happen is each time you do an appointment or have a party every week, you're going to put the total of sales that you have. We're going to just use a round figure because I just think it's easier. Where let's just say you sold $500 in Mary Kay. As you know, we make 50% of that. So the other 50% belongs to your Mary Kay business. So I would encourage you, like I've said in our previous training segment, you want to have a separate Mary Kay checking account. So that way you can keep your money separate from your personal household income. And let me explain to you why this is so important. So after you make that deposit into your Mary Kay checking account, 50%, look in the column that says inventory, 50%. 50% of those monies, and if on $500 in sales, that's $250, that's going to stay in your Mary Kay business account. Basically, you've got to replenish the product that you just sold off of your shelf. We only make 50%, so it makes sense that the other 50%, you're going to reorder that product to replenish the product on your shelf. Just like the Hers guy, every week, every store, they take inventory and they say, okay, I need this many more bags of Hers chips, and he brings that in, and those shelves are replenished. It's the same thing with your business. So 50% goes to your business. Okay, now the other 50%, right, that's our profit. So as a business owner, we have to know that working our business, we're going to have some expenses. I just shared some of those with you, whether it's postage, ink, paper, whatever it is that we might be needing for our business. It might be catalogs, order forms, samples, all of those kind of things. So we want to make sure that we're holding 10% aside to help us to pay for those business supplies. Okay, so you want to keep an extra 10% in your Mary Kay account. Now, the other 40% is what you're going to take your draw on. So for example, you've sold $500, $250 is going to remain in there to replace your inventory. 10% of that, which is $50, you're going to save in your account to help with sales aids or supplies that you might need for your business. And then 40%, which would be of $500 is $200. That's what you want to pay yourself. So that's where you're going to take your draw on. So you're going to write that, or you can either write yourself out a check weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, however you want to pay yourself. And that 40% now becomes your profit now you deposit that into your personal checking account. That becomes your paycheck. Now out of that 40%, which is your profit, you're going to want to, if you're still having to pay yourself back on an investment because let's say you started with inventory, now you're out of that 40% is what you're going to pay yourself back with. So you might say, okay, I'm going to take 15% or 20% of that to pay back on my investment, and then I'm going to pay myself the other 20%. Every woman is different. What I did was my very first party every month, I took the profit from that, my 40%, and I just paid back my loan, okay? And then every other party I had for the rest of the month, I took the 40% and put it in my personal checking account to pay for groceries and bills and those kind of things. So it just really depends on how you want to work your business. We can come up with a plan specifically for your situation based on what your needs are. But I do want to encourage you to make sure that you're doing that 60-40 split. That's what we call it in Mary Kay. So 50% inventory, 10% supplies, and then 40% is your business income. So again, if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know. But this is another important sheet that you're going to want to keep track of, all right? As far as the tracking your business, there's only one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is your weekly accomplishment sheet. This is a really great tool. You can actually do this digitally right on Mary Kay InTouch. This is just a hard copy, so you can I can go over it with you. But you would go under My Business or under Business Tools, and then you would go under My Business, and then under Weekly Accomplishment Sheet. And basically, this is just a great way for you to track your business as you're holding appointments throughout the week, and as you're seeing your hostesses. You're going to basically put her name. You would type her name in under where it says hostess name, or for your point, it says for appointments, list hostess name. So you would just put her name in there. And then you're going to just type in here, how many guests were there at the event? What were the number of orders? How many bookings did you get? What were your sales? Now in this column, your sales are going to consist of all the orders that you collected. Now you're not going to add, if you live in a state that you collect sales tax, you're not going to add the sales tax in this column. This is going to be just the column with the sales that you collected from your orders without sales tax, and it's also going to be after you gave any discount. So let's say, for example, you sold $300, but let's say you actually had $325 that came off of your shelf, but you gave away $25 in free products, or it was in hostess gifts. So you want to make sure that you are putting $300 in this column, not $325, because what will happen is there is a section over here that says product giveaway. So if you gave product away at suggested retail, that's where you're going to list that number. Let's say it was $25 that you gave away in product. That's where you're going to list that, okay? The great thing about this is at the end of the week when you submit this, you're going to submit this to me, your sales director. It's going to actually add everything and calculate everything up, and it's going to show you how much you actually made per hour based on your sales, how many hours were involved with the work that you did. And the other thing is it's going to send this information to me, and it's going to let me know basically how I can better coach you with your business. And you'll also have an option if you need help with something. It'll ask you, do you need help with anything? And you just click on the little boxes that says like bookings or sales ideas, whatever it is, recruiting. You can just go ahead and check those boxes off, and it'll send it to me, and that's how I'll know what you might need help with. The other thing is this is how you get your recognition in Mary Kay at our sales events. When you send this to me, I usually ask that you send this in to me by noon on Monday. That way I can have all your recognition ribbons ready for you for our Monday night events. So again, if you're doing the work, why not get recognized for it? So that way I'll know. And the other thing is that I'll be able to better coach you by being able to see, look, Jane had 3 parties. She had $500 in sales at every party, but you had no booking. So I might be able to say, if there's patterns of things that are happening, I might be able to better coach you if I can see what's going on. It might be the reverse of it might be that maybe you're getting tons of bookings, but your sales are like $50 to $100 per party. Same thing. I might be able to talk, we might be able to just touch base, and I might be able to say, what do you think is going on? What are you feeling confident about? What do you feel like you're struggling with? So this is really a coaching tool for me as your sales director, as well as a way for you to get recognition. So I really love this. And I really want to encourage you to make sure that you're taking full use of it, because the other thing that's great about this is as you're working your business and while you're getting your sales, Mary Kay every single week, it just accumulates. So it'll track all of your sales over the course of the year. And also there's it'll tell you every week what your grand total was year to date on all of your sales that you've had. But it will also keep track of all the sales aids that you've purchased. So if you've been purchasing product that was from section 2 that I talked about earlier, like catalogs, order forms, sales aids, samples, all those kind of things, it's going to keep a running total for you. Now, at the end of the year, you will get a 1099 from Mary Kay if you've sold over, I believe it's over $500 or $1,000 with the company. They'll send you a 1099, and on that 1099, it'll say how much you sold for the year, but it will also give you the total number that you spent on section 2 sales aids. So the great thing about this weekly accomplishment sheet is that you don't have to necessarily wait for Mary Kay to send you that 1099 if you're consistently every week putting in your information. And you can also just kind of double check everything at the end of the year if the totals that you have, for example, for section 2 sales aids match what the company is sending you as well. So a really good tool for you to use. And again, a great way to get your recognition. All right? So that is really taxes, time, and money management.